First of all, the goal not to completely lose control and crash and possibly kill Jebediah. That would be bad. But I'm actually going to try and get a more successful flight, maybe over to those green areas over there. So, I'm going to throttle up and completely forget to do the staging part. Okay. Oops. Alright, well, luckily it's an easy fix. Just move that down here so it immediately starts. Parachutes on the last stage. That's useful. Okay. Turning SAS on. And lift off. Okay. It's going a little bit off to the side, but not enough to be worried about. And then there's the my earlier debris that I forgot to go pick up. Fantastic. I'll have to do that later. Alright, let's make a slight adjustment here. I shouldn't be spinning this much, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Going to decouple these boosters. There you go, they just pop off. Now I don't have that dead weight there. Obviously this is going a little... Why are you... Alright, unsure of why it was turning that way for a little bit, but... oh well. Not that big of a deal. Anyway, we're going to take a crew report here. Alright, never mind, we're not going to. Going to take a goo sample though. Goo sample is good. Keep that data. Alright. Oh yeah, decouple. And now we're into the next stage. Doing fairly well with this. Oh, cool. Alright. So, that crew report had a little bit of science to do with it. Alright, we're going to actually try and aim for that far shore then, since this is going slightly better than I thought. And we actually might make it a little bit into the upper atmosphere. Well, we already did, but we might... Yeah, we're technically not in an orbit, even though it says it right there. We're more in an arcing path headed towards the planet at a fairly alarming speed. Not the greatest position to be in, but I'm not going to complain. It'll be useful for science. Gonna grab some more science now with the mystery goo. Well, Jebediah's dancing because of his discoveries in science today. And the engines are out. Alright, so now we're free floating. We are officially in space, as you can hear by the tiny little music, the nice little relaxing music. Obviously very high above. Jebediah is very stoic looking about it. Well, not stoic, just kind of stupidly joyful. He's a bit thick, if you haven't noticed. Alright, so I think I'm just going to fast forward this. Real quick, let's look at the orbit map. We actually made a bit of an arc, surprisingly. If I had added another stage, or maybe had better solid fuel boosters, we might have gotten a full orbit. But, not overly worried. An orbit's really not useful quite yet. Can't really do much with it, but it'll be nice. I'll just fast forward it until we get to the apoapsis here, which, by the way, is the apoapsis is the highest point in an orbit, and the perioapsis is the bottommost part of an orbit. And I'll get more into the science of that once I actually begin to do orbits and travel to the moon or Minmus or the other planets in our mighty solar system. Maybe even Elu one day. Definitely not Jewel though. Jewel is terrible. And I think you'll find out why later on in the series. So I'm just going to fast forward it a little bit here. Oh, forgot to throttle down. Do that real quick. Even if it's out of gas, if it's throttled up, it can't speed up time. So just speed up a little bit. Get to... Ooh, okay. Alright, messed up there, but whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Grab some more mystery goo samples. I get a little better with the 10 science there. Let's just take a couple more. Why not? May as well. Can't hurt. Let's actually get an EVA report here from Mr. Jebediah. Whopping 8 science. I do a bit of a jetpack journey with him, but we're a little too close to the planet for me to feel safe doing that. Might as well. Okay. I feel like a mistake was made. I don't know if I necessarily like this. I'm just going to kind of get back in if I can manage the... Okay. Alright, this was a slight mistake. Whew, alright. Never mind. Not that big of a deal. How about you let me... Alright, cool. We are back in. That was, oh, he is very happy about doing that, little spacewalk there. A little too happy if you ask me. That's a little creepy. Gonna speed it up. Not to steal Jebediah's moment, but I think this flight needs to come to an end here fairly soon. Gonna speed it up a little bit as we enter atmosphere fairly soon. As you can see by the little gauge right there and the fact that we're about to burn alive. Luckily, fire doesn't really do anything. But the friction, however, does change several things, as in me flying rather speedily into an ocean that I can't see. So I'm gonna have to pay attention to the altitude gauge here fairly closely to ensure that I don't die horribly and lose all this magnificent science. It's actually quite terrifying speeding into the blue abyss. Headed right for the nose cone. Alright, I think I'm going to pull the chute fairly soon when I reach about 1,000 meters above sea level, which is coming up rapidly. Alright, slow down a little bit there. Okay. Coming down again at a speed that's slightly unnerving. Take a goo sample. Not a useful one. Already have that one. By the way, once you take a sample or do an experiment, for some of them you cannot repeat it. As you can see with the goo, they remain open. And okay. Alright. Luckily all the science equipment was saved. What is the... Stop this... It's the fin. Alright. Well, I guess we cannot take the water goo sample that I kind of needed. So I'm going to take an EVA report here. Keep that here, data. I don't think I can take a surface. I can take a surface sample. Some water. Incredible science right there. Alright. Alright, that was fairly successful. See the amount of science. Okay, this is just Jebediah gathered science, so we're actually going to have to go to the tracking station and pick up the actual pod here that just landed in the middle of the ocean. But let's see, where's the space station? I believe it's here. Wow, alright. So the space station's here, and we made it clear across the world. Well done! Not a altogether failed attempt, and almost 20 science. That's very useful. Oh no. However, we did not get credit for the goo samples that we took due to the fact that they came off. I thought that wouldn't be an issue, but apparently it was, so we missed out on a bit of science, but we can always repeat that one. So I think I'm going to grab survivability and general rocketry. And I think I'm going to end the episode there, or the part, I guess. Not necessarily episodic. And on the next video I'll make a better craft that might have first of all, a better chance of surviving, and maybe even a little more science collected. And yeah, well, further on into the great blue yonder and beyond. Alright, well anyway, that's the end of this part. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.